Guys, let me ask you something. Have you ever watched a performance and felt like something was different, but you couldn't fully explain it? Like, it's not just about the vocals, not just about the choreography, not even just about visuals, but something deeper, something that pulls your attention without asking for permission. Because that's exactly what happened during the BTS concert in Tampa. And the most surprising part? It wasn't just the fans who noticed it. It was the camera crew. Yeah, the people behind the lens. The ones who are trained to stay focused, to stay objective, to capture moments without getting emotionally involved. Even they couldn't ignore what was happening on stage. And at the center of it all was Jimin. Now let's be real for a second. Jimin has always been known as a top-tier performer. This isn't new. We've seen his evolution, we've seen his growth, we've seen how he carries himself on stage. But Tampa felt like something else. Something elevated. Something that made even professionals stop and think. Wait, what just happened? Because during this concert, something very specific stood out. Something that fans have talked about for years. But this time, it was different. This time, it was undeniable. Jimin's duality. And no, we're not just throwing around that word for hype. This isn't just fan language. This is something that was visibly captured through professional cameras, through multiple angles, through lenses that don't exaggerate. They reveal. There were moments, real, undeniable moments, where Jimin's entire aura shifted in a matter of seconds. 1 second, he looked soft, almost fragile. His expressions calm, his movements fluid, like he was telling a gentle story through his body. And then suddenly, everything changed. His gaze sharpened. His posture straightened. His energy intensified. And just like that, the same person who looked soft seconds ago now felt powerful, dominant, magnetic in a completely different way. And here's the crazy part. It didn't feel like a switch. It didn't feel forced. It felt natural, seamless, like both sides existed at the same time. And he just chose which one to show. And that's what shocked the camera crew. Because when you're behind the lens, you see everything. Every detail is magnified. Every expression becomes more visible. There's no hiding. There's no filter. And yet, Jimin didn't just pass that test. He mastered it. Some camera operators reportedly adjusted their framing, not because they were instructed to, but because they were drawn to him. Because something about his presence demanded attention. And when professionals, people who have filmed countless artists, start reacting like that, you know something unusual is happening. But let's go deeper. Because this isn't just about presence. This is about control. Jimin doesn't just perform. He controls how you feel. Think about that for a second. Every movement he makes isn't random. Every step, every turn, every glance, it's intentional. It's designed to guide your attention, to build emotion, to create a connection. And when that connection hits, it hits hard. There were moments in Tampa where the crowd went from screaming to completely silent, just watching him. Not because they were told to, but because they were captivated. That kind of control, that's rare. And then there's the vocals. Because let's not ignore that. In the middle of all this visual intensity, Jimin still delivered emotionally driven vocals that added another layer to the performance. His voice didn't just support the performance, it amplified it. Soft when it needed to be soft. Strong when it needed to be strong. Always aligned with the mood he was creating. And this is where everything comes together. The dance, the vocals, the expressions, the fashion, the lighting, the camera angles. Everything worked. But Jimin was the center. And speaking of fashion, let's talk about that for a moment. Because his styling in Tampa wasn't just about looking good. It was about enhancing the narrative. The flow of the outfit, the way the fabric moved with him, it highlighted his softer side. But at the same time, the structure, the fit, the details, they emphasized his stronger presence. It created contrast. visual contrast that supported his duality. And when the cameras captured that contrast in motion, it became something else entirely. Something memorable. Something people couldn't stop talking about. And that's exactly what happened. After the concert, discussions exploded. Fans started sharing clips, analyzing moments, pointing out transitions, highlighting expressions. But what made it different this time was that even non-fans, even industry observers, started noticing it too. Because when something is real, it goes beyond fandom. It becomes undeniable. And that's what we're seeing right now. Jimin isn't just performing anymore. He's creating moments that stick. Moments that people replay. Moments that people talk about. Moments that people feel. And Tampa was full of those moments. But here's where it gets even more interesting. This was just the beginning. This was the opening of the North America tour. So if this is how it starts, what happens next? How far can he push this? How many more moments like this are we going to see? Because now, expectations are higher than ever. Not just from fans, but from everyone watching. And somehow, Jimin already set the tone. So now the question is, are we witnessing something bigger? Is this just another great performance? Or is this the start of a new era for him as a performer? Because if you really pay attention, this doesn't feel accidental. This feels intentional. This feels like growth. And growth like this doesn't happen overnight. It comes from years of experience. Years of understanding the stage. Years of learning how to connect, how to express, how to control not just your body, but the entire atmosphere around you. And that's what makes this so powerful.